Brian Eberlin, last name Eberlin.
I always say it wrong. I said Eberlin. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
You are a member of the Orange County Sheriff's Department.
Yes, sir.
Were you so employed in July of 2008?
Yes, sir.
On or about July the 15th, sir, were you dispatched to a residence on Hope Springs Drive?
Yes, sir.
You know who lived there?
The Anthony family.
Had you ever had any contact with the Anthony family prior to that time?
No, sir.
Sir, when you arrived, did you participate in an overall just kind of controlling the scene and what's going on and asking questions?
Yes, sir.
And at that point in time, sir, did you observe a white Pontiac Firebird automobile?
I did, sir.
Did you notice any particular odor about that car when you were looking at it?
No, sir.
In addition, sir, after you had some interview there, did you have occasion to put handcuffs on Casey Anthony?
Yes, I did, sir.
And were you subsequently instructed by Sergeant Hosey to remove the handcuffs?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. No further questions.
Cross-examination.
Thank you. Deputy, you were the junior deputy on the scene, so to speak.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And Sergeant Hosey was there as well?
Yes, ma'am.
The handcuffing of Ms. Anthony was for 2 or 3 minutes?
Yes, ma'am, approximately.
Okay. And after that, she was immediately released and went back into her house and was free to go about her business, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Why was Ms. Anthony handcuffed?
While Casey was inside the house, her mother, Cindy, had approached me while I was outside and informed me that Casey had stolen her.
Hearsay?
Open the door, Your Honor.
Still hearsay.
Exception to the hearsay rule.
Your Honor, the complainant formed the basis for probable cause for this individual.
That should be sidebar.
Okay. Okay. Okay, members of the jury, there's going to be a brief legal matter we need to take up outside of your presence. We will get back with you as quickly as possible. Maybe seated. Okay, Ms. Burdick, you may continue.
All right, Deputy, can you tell the court why you put handcuffs on Ms. Anthony?
Cindy Anthony had approached me while Casey was inside her residence while I was on scene and came out with receipts stating that Casey had stolen her credit card and made fraudulent purchase with that credit card. And she wanted to press charges for or against Casey. I then went inside the house, detained Casey, and brought her into my car and was going to continue the investigation of the fraudulent use for credit cards. At that time, when I placed her in the car, that's when Sergeant Hosey had told me, we're not concerned about the fraudulent use of the credit card at this time. only the kidnapping that we were investigating, and informed me to take her out of cuffs, which I did, and she went inside.
All right. Now, as it relates to the timeline of events, this happened after Ms. Anthony did her written statement for you at 1 a.m, correct?
To the best of my recollection, yes.
Okay. But before at the time, Corporal Melich arrived at 4 a.m.
Yes.
Okay. That's all we have for the proffer.
Okay, argument. Mr. Mason and then the state.
I don't think there's anything else to add to that, Your Honor. The argument, the Sherman 403 and or the instruction to the jury that she's not on trial for any of this.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mason, can you repeat that last part?
What did you not hear? All of it?
Repeat it again, Mr. Mason.
I'm having to read you.
Not on trial for any other.
Not on trial for any of those allegations, whether it's credit card or car or otherwise.
Okay. The defense raised the issue of the handcuffs being placed on Miss Anthony, and then elicited questions that the officer removed the handcuffs without any particular explanation as to the reasons why, which opens the door for this particular testimony. The court will fashion a jury instruction to deal with this. Just a second. State recognized presence of jury.
Yes, Your Honor.
The defense. Ladies and gentlemen, the evidence which you are about to hear concerning the reasons Miss Casey Anthony, the defendant, was handcuffed is solely to explain the reasons why the deputy took those actions and is not for any other purpose. The defendant is not on trial for those acts, and you should not consider it for any other purpose except to explain why the deputy handcuffed the defendant. You may proceed.
Thank you. Deputy, you had indicated Ms. Anthony was handcuffed for a very brief period of time, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Was that done after she had provided the written statement that you countersigned for her?
Yes.
After that occurred, Mrs. Anthony, Cindy Anthony, came to you when you were outside and indicated that she wanted to press charges against her daughter Casey for the fraudulent use of her credit card, correct?
Overall.
Yes.
Okay. And in order to further that investigation, you went into the house, handcuffed Ms. Anthony briefly, at which point in time your supervisor, Sergeant Hosey, told you that he wanted the handcuffs off.
Yes, ma'am.
At that point, Ms. Anthony was free to go back into the house while the investigation continued into the alleged kidnapping of her daughter, Kaylee, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Corporal Melich showed up at least an hour or more after that, correct?
I don't recall the gap in time, but
Was it after?
yes, the
Was he-
detective showed up after that.
All right. And he was not present for this exchange between you and Cindy Anthony, correct?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Or you and Casey Anthony, for that matter?
Correct? No.
Okay. And then once Corporal Melich arrived, you were not involved in any way, shape, or form in the taking of additional statements from Ms. Anthony, either at her residence at 4 o'clock or so that morning, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you were not involved in taking any statements from her on July 16th at Universal Studios, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Redirect.
No further questions, Your Honor.
May the deputy be excused.
Yes.
Thank you, deputy. Right. Does both sides concur that a legal issue has arisen unrelated to the issue that we talked about first thing this morning, dealing with Dr. Furton, that would necessitate us recessing for today? Ms. Burdick?
Defense would agree as well.
Okay, then we will be in recess to 8:30 Monday. Madam Court Reporter, we have something we got to do. Be seated.
Spectators snapped cell phone pictures. The short walk to Cheney Mason's office in the Bank of America building was chock full of drama. Escorted by deputies, Mason's legal files were knocked over, which prompted him to tell everyone to back off and back up. Then another member of the team berated a woman for stepping on his foot.
Oh, was an accident.
Be quiet. Hey, chill out.
I'm sorry.
No one would offer up an explanation as to what legal matter caused court to end. Before crossing Orange Avenue, Baez and Mason both said, "See you Monday." But while the jury's day